Hi guys, this is Luis. We're still live here at the GMGC at the Global Mobile Games Confederate Manila 2017 at EDSA Shangri-la. And right now I'm being joined by Miss Gwen Guo of IMBA Interactive, a sound engineer. So basically she creates the audio that we hear from some of our beloved video games. Miss Gwen, hi. Good afternoon.
It's Hello.
Afternoon right now.
Hi.
So Miss Gwen, can you just tell us maybe a little something about what you do?
Okay, so I'm actually a co-founder of IMBA Interactive and we are 4 years old. We do anything sound related for games, from sound effects to music to voice and implementation. And in the company, I'm actually the lead sound designer, and as well as I do project management, I do HR, etc.
So what led you to your position right now? What led you to the field of creating audio or sound for video games?
It started way back. So I've been gaming since young, since I was 5 years old. We used to play Heroes of Might and Magic with my siblings together. We used to take turn-based other games as well, like Fury of the Furries, all sorts of games when we were young. I used to watch my brother play Doom, and then I picked up Doom myself. And on my own, I used to play all the Barbie games on top of Doom, so there's a pretty interesting contrast.
Yeah. It really is.
But I've loved playing games since young. So, but I never thought about it as a career, because I think as most Asian young folks realize, a lot of parents don't understand video games.
They do.
They think it's some form of addiction, or you're not gonna get a job in it. It's not lucrative. So at a point in time, what changed my mom's mind about it was when I played Flower. I don't know whether you guys heard of Flower by that game company. It's actually an art game where you fly through the fields and you collect flowers, but at the same time it's also quite emotional, and it tells a story in without using voice. So I think that's where I learned that it's not about that my mom doesn't understand games. It's that there are not enough games that are publicized that normal non-gamers can understand. Because games are always marketed as violent, aggression, action, and it excludes an entire demographic. So that's when I realized, hey, actually anyone can be a gamer, is whether or not you're exposed to a certain genre. So that's my mom, and that's for gaming. So for audio, actually how I got started in audio was I picked up DJing when I was in my teens, 17, 18, and my dad was super doubtful of it, because to him clubbing in Singapore or in Asia, it's about going there, finding guys, drinking, all these things, and he didn't understand that I was actually there for the music. I was actually there to play gigs, I was there to listen to the music. So once I was taking part in a DJ competition, and I forced my parents to go. And my dad actually was like, hey, this is actually not so bad, I don't see anyone trying to touch her or anything. So that's the music side. That's how my parents were like, oh, okay, But I think the real test came when it was becoming a career. And luckily my parents understood, they supported me with running a startup. And at that point of time, it was quite painful, because there's not a lot of game companies out there that can promise a pay that can eventually put a roof over your head, etc., etc. So they know it's quite risky business. But my dad is a venture capitalist, so he does investment in games. So I guess to that generation and to the demographic, as long as it's profitable, it is a respectable job. I don't know whether I believe in that, but that gave me a good gateway into the games industry without much objection from my dad. So that's how I got in. It's I just married my two loves, music and games.
Video games.
Yeah, video games. Yeah.
It's really a very nice combination. We'll talk about that pay later, but you did say that you create music for other video games. Can you give us a few samples of the video games that you have created, audio or sound?
Actually, just now in the presentation, I mentioned there's a few Filipino games that I worked on.
Oh yeah, we did say some from Celeb and Altitude games.
Yes.
But which games did you feel made a mark on you? Which game do you think is the most memorable in terms of creating audio for it or creating sound for it?
Wow. Okay. Let me think back. It has to be, I think for me, and this doesn't mean that the rest of the games aren't interesting. It's just the game that really expanded my knowledge on audio and pushed me to out of comfort zone. And that was Masquerada from Witching Hour Studios in Singapore. So I mean, there's not a lot of RPG narrative games that come out from Southeast Asia. So I was very lucky to work on that. And I didn't do the music for that, but I worked with the composer Josh from overseas in the US, where he's wonderful. Like, he records choir in the church, you know, to get the natural reverb. So he's quite the talent. And we got to work with the voice producer from LA as well. And we got talents like Matt Mercer, Jennifer Hale, all these big names. And it was such a privilege to work with this team. And it was the best for me because it was the first project that allowed me to go really deep into implementation. Like, I wasn't just doing sound effects for them. I was actually bringing all the music, I was bringing all the voice and putting them in the game for them. So
yeah, in a way you are more hands-on in the
yes,
project,
I'm
right?
deeper into the implementation process because most of the time with clients, like, I just hand them the sound effects and that's it. You know, we have feedback, we exchange builds, we do revisions, but Masquerada was a lot more than that. It was like I got to see what needs to be revised without people telling me because I could test it immediately in the game.
Now, talking about working with gaming companies, and of course you did mention the pay a while ago. As a sound designer, like, how do you usually set the rates for your projects? Like, let's say if I am an aspiring sound designer, like she right here, if I were to talk to a video or if a gaming company is to talk to me like, hey, we want you to create audio for a game, how would I, how would I set the I would use the term rates. Like, is it per audio clip? Is it based on the project? Is it is the hiring company gonna set the rates, or is it gonna be me? How do you do it?
Okay, so never let the company set your rates.
Oh.
So we are all artists, and especially as freelancers and outsource, right? We have to protect our craft. Like, clients will say that, oh, you're too expensive and all that, but it's not a matter of us being too expensive. It's because people don't understand our value and how much we bring to the table. So it's all about education. Within me and my company, like, we've never lowered rates for anyone just because they complained we were expensive. Yeah, because when you put your rates at a certain level, right, that's where people also respect you as a professional company. And when we run as an audio production business, we think about industry as a whole. And we don't want to, how do I say this? We don't want to bring down the pay for everyone else. We don't want to spoil the market. Yeah, and of course when you're just starting out like a student, if you work for free, if you work for like 150 Sing dollars per minute, it's still acceptable. But by the time you're making actual money off it, and by the time you consider yourself a professional, you should always make your rates look professional. Yeah.
That's it. And speaking of back to video games again, what are your top 5 picks for video games with the best audio overall? I mean, including the music, the sound effects, and all that stuff. Do you have any favorites out there, the existing? Aside from, let's say, the games that you have created, music or audio.
No, I would never say that the games that I worked on are the best. It's just like...
Okay. Your top 5 picks for an existing title. You did mention Limbo a while ago, right?
I mentioned Limbo
Transistor.
and Transistor, yes.
So at which rank are those 2 games in your?
I think it's not about rank. I think it's about where they excel in specifically. So and usually music. I mean, the sound that I respect in games are those that have very interesting implementation ways. So, for example, Transistor is interesting because, like, when you go into the mode of planning, right, the music changes, and it's not just the basic low-pass filter of the track. They brought out the vocals, which normally when you play the game in action mode is behind with the track.
Yeah.
But when you go into planning mode, they bring the voice forward and they mute everything back, which is quite an interesting decision and use of music. Limbo, like I said, is because they didn't try to differentiate sound effects and music. It's actually the same thing. It's the use of ambience, the use of ambient drones, tonal drones that, like, it can pass off as ambient music, but yet it's not. So yeah, that's really interesting. But those are only 2 games. So if I were to think about the next 3 games, I personally like Res a lot. It's quite an old game, maybe in the 1990s. It's a rhythm game, a rhythm shooter. So those of you who have played Child of Eden, you will probably hear about Res. It's the same creators. So what it is it's a music game, but it's also a shooter, and all the enemies that you shoot add to the track. So when you first start the game, it's just kick drum. Kick drum, very, very simple beats. And as you kill the enemies, every single enemy adds an instrument to the track. So you're sort of like creating the track while killing enemies.
So, that's kind of grisly, but interesting at the same time.
Yeah, it's great. I mean, like, especially I really like dance music, and that game was like full-on dance music. So, and the controller vibrated at the same time, so it was a whole like experience. It wasn't just I'm just shooting enemies. I'm actually being in the game and being part of the track. So that was really good. What else? I think maybe people wouldn't see this as good audio, but I thought Neverhood. Sorry, I'm quite old, so like. Neverhood is a 1996 game, and it's the only claymation game that I've seen ever. Like there is Neverhood and there's Skull Monkeys, and recently there is I forgot what's the name of the game, but it's made by the same creators. So they made this series of claymation games. But what was interesting is that in 1996, right, things were going to digital music, but they continued to use acoustic music, which is quite interesting.
So like actual instruments are being used in...
Yeah, it was just a guy singing random gibberish and strumming on the guitar. It was like brr, 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 and then he strummed the guitar and he used his voice as an instrument. And it was just so interesting how he contrasted the whimsical nature of the graphics, because it's all clay, right, to like this like weird song playing in the background.
Gibberish audio.
Yeah, gibberish sound, which I thought, hey, is so experimental for its time. So Neverhood was one of them. Yeah.
Now, if you're given the chance to create or to be part of maybe the audio creation team for one popular video game title right now, what video game would it be?
Wow.
Like maybe a sequel to this game or a part of the game of this franchise?
Well, obviously it has to be a game that I really love playing.
Yeah.
So it would be great if I could work on like Overwatch. The Overwatch sound, the Blizzard sound team is just amazing. Like the mix of their game is so, I mean, you never feel that anything is too crowded, even though there's so much happening going on in the FPS, especially when you're shooting and the enemies are shooting and there's so much things going on, but every single sound that comes out is so well mixed. And how they managed to do the Atmos panning is also really interesting. So Overwatch has like an Atmos feature in the headphones. So it'll be interesting to learn how are they going to make a sound as if it's happening behind you or above you or below you with just stereo speakers. Actually, that's a huge question for VR audio, which is still, under development.
Still under development.
Yeah, it's still pretty new. So Overwatch is like, my dream is to work on a competitive FPS game. Yeah.
Hopefully Activision Blizzard watches this and they give you a call, maybe. Maybe we got some new maps in Overwatch. I want you to do audio. Hopefully it will happen.
Long way to go.
And one last question for any aspiring audio or sound engineers or designers out there. What advice can you give to them?
I think I have two major advice. One is be very versatile, and adaptive. Like, don't lock yourself into a certain music genre or certain kind of sound effects. Play many different kinds of games. Like, play everything from casual games to competitive FPS to MMORPG. And my second advice is to learn how to reverse engineer stuff. Like, just be critical of the sound that's happening in the game, because once you are able to reverse engineer stuff, then you can challenge yourself to build it from scratch, even the implementation side. So that way, like, it's better to learn from than like struggling with nothing,
Yeah, well, and I guess that's a wrap. Thank you, Ms. Gwen from IMBA Interactive. Again, we are Pacific Network. Do watch out for our video, which will be uploaded on our YouTube page. We're creating it right now. And at the same time, do visit our website. That's www.pacific.network, and also subscribe to our social media page. That's facebook.com/PCFCNetwork. Is there also a website that they can maybe visit, IMBA Interactive?
Yes, IMBAinteractive.com.
Okay, IMBA Interactive. There you go. You can also visit IMBAinteractive.com. You do offer freelance consultation, right?
Yes, we can do consultation.
There you go. So if you're a freelance sound designer, then maybe you can give them a message and maybe you can work things out from there. Again, this is Luis and this is Ms. Gwen. We're still here at the GMGC Manila 2017, and hopefully we can have more events right here in the Philippines. Thank you.
Thank you. Thanks.